Thanks, Chandra. We're looking forward to getting cooking here. And I also want to thank Lorelei for this. Look at this, everyone. I want you to see this amazing display here. It's just super awesome. And really, thank you. I want to thank Kamehameha Schools for having me. It's always nice to be back and to give back. And I think all of the things we talked about are amazing. We're using local product on a KS Aina. And just my chance to come back and give back is really, really amazing. And then we got, I'm sorry. And who are you, sir?
Bodhi Chang. I'm class of 2031.
Class of 2031, great. So alum, future alum, very, very excited. Yeah, and so we're gonna do a bunch of dishes today, and I think what the goal is to try to show you things that I think you can do quickly at home. Hopefully by the end of this we'll have a complete meal done. And also the thing I wanted to kind of mention before we get started is the dishes that we're gonna do here I think are very versatile and you can switch things in and out. And as you start to play with them, you can also start to riff on them. So I did not give you measurements. I gave you just lists of things because you're going to see that we're going to cook by feel today. And I'll show you some tips and tricks. And then you take those and then you can do your own thing. And then you can build on that. So I'll look forward to get started. And like Chandra said, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to use the chat feature. I love the questions. I like the conversation. I want to feel like we're all kind of doing this together. Now I will try to. I will multitask, and so I encourage those of you to keep up with me. And if you start to get a little bit behind, that's fine. You know, you finish up as you go, and then we'll just play it easy. So the first thing that we're going to start with is the kalo, the taro, and what I have here is a pot ready to go with some oil in it. I have about half a cup of the vegetable oil and it's heating up because we're going to do some frying. Now, when you're thinking about healthy cooking, right, you're like, whoa, we're starting off with frying. And that's, yes, we are. But I think the thing you want to think about is how much you're going to be eating that's fried and how often you're going to be eating what's fried. So we're going to do a little bit of frying here, but it's not something that's an everyday kind of a thing. And I started with the frying here because as we're frying, when I was testing the recipes, I started to kind of like pick on these while I was cooking, and I figured the best part was start with first. So we have the kalo, and it's cooked. This is from our partners here at the Hālau Co-op, which is really cool stuff, very convenient. And I have a little bit pre-prepped, but we'll open this up. And the pieces, as you can see, if you just started with me, they're nice, cooked, frozen. I hope they're all defrosted by now for you. But they're a little bit wet. So if you want to take these out now, kind of like try to absorb some of that water because we're going to be frying and you don't want all that liquid in there. So I'll take a couple of these out here. And we're going to start cutting, and I'm going to show you how we're going to cut. So basically, you want to think about these as like French fries. So, you know, you have some shapes that are a little bit different. They're kind of like half moon shape. And you want to cut it in half. I'm going to cut this piece in half here. So you have that, you know, like that rough French fry shape. And then I'm going to the best that I can, cut them into even sizes. And then Mr. Chang over here is going to help me cut some too. Go ahead. Go for it. And I'll cut, and everyone can start cutting now. Now, when you're cutting, I have some paper towel. If you want to take a look over here, I got some paper towels and a plate, and I cut my pieces, and I put them on that paper towel here so that they can absorb more of that water. You want to get as much of that water out as you can because that way it's going to give you a nice, crispy product. So as Bodhi's cutting some more, you keep going there. Keep going. You're doing good. I'll cut a few pieces and then I'm going to get this frying. Now, one more quick thing is on the stove behind me, I have my water boiling. In the notes, I think I said get some water boiling. And what I'm trying to show you is there are certain steps you can get ahead on and be ready so that when it's time to bring everything together, you have, for the most part, all fresh, hot dishes versus you make a bunch of things and by the time you get to the end, you got to reheat all the other stuff. So that's kind of what we're going to play this game on. I got my oil on. If you got your stove going, you want to get some oil on. The temperature we're shooting for, if you have a thermometer, is about 330 to 350 Fahrenheit. You'll know when it's hot because the oil is very thin. It has a nice sheen on it. You can smell it in the air. And then if you're not sure, you can do a little bit of a quick test. How's it coming?
Good.
Good? All right. So I have these that were dried out, and I'll start to put them in carefully. Again, this is hot oil, so you don't want to just throw them in and splash. You want to gradually put them in. And like I said, if you want to test it first, you can see. You want to come take a look at this here? Come on in. You can see you can see it's bubbling, right? It's not really, really screaming, like making a lot of noise, but it's making that nice frying sound, and that's what you want to get. So we're gonna put those in again. If you're getting splatter, the splatter's happening because you have a lot of moisture on there. So if you're getting a lot of splatter, take the time and let them sit a little bit so that we can get that water out and minimize that from happening. Okay, here, Bodhi, keep cutting some more. Keep going. And so we'll let these go. We'll just let these cook, and they're gonna start to get golden and nicely, just like French fries will get. And every so often, if you need to, you just kind of like you get a pencil and move them around. You do want to make sure that you don't overcrowd this pan in here, because if you overcrowd the pan, what happens is you're trying to cook temperature. It's time and temperature, right? And if the pan gets overcrowded with all this cold product, you drop the temperature of the oil, and then all of a sudden your potatoes or your kalo are just swimming in cold oil. And so I've added pieces to make sure that they stay separate so they don't stick together, but also so that I can continue to maintain the temperature in this pan. And they're starting to like get a little crispy on the edges, which is making me very excited. What do you think, Bodhi? Are you getting excited about this?
Yes.
Did you try these, the ones that I tested? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
And what do you think?
They're really good.
Really good? But he also has spam on the mind because he was asking. He thought we're making spam chips at first, but, right? No. Okay, you keep cutting. Any questions so far? No questions? Okay. Oh wow. Bodhi fan club. By the way, while we're cooking, and I'm cooking these dishes, if there are any other general cooking questions you have, you're welcome to pitch them at me. I'm pretty good with most answers. If not, I'm pretty good at making up answers too. And we can also do some fact checking because I heard we got internet. So, but I'll let this cook. How you doing?
Do I put that down?
Put them on there, yes sir. Okay, so while these are cooking, you're letting them cook, and I have a paper towel lined plate, so as they're coming out, we're gonna put them on the plate. I want to start kind of getting the ground beef together. Okay, so you guys should all have your ground beef that was in the kit. Why don't you open your kit up or your ground beef and go ahead and put it into a bowl, and then we're gonna season this. Again, what we're gonna put in here is actually, you know what? I'm gonna put this inside. Change my mind. Put it in the bowl, put it on the side. We're gonna do some other prep first. Because as you notice in the dishes, we got a lot of garlic, we're using a lot of ginger, we're using green onions. So we're gonna prep all that up, and then we can use those as we need in all the different dishes. So, are you done? Okay, you keep an eye on this, right? You're gonna be the potato chef.
Okay.
Or the kalo chef. If you need to, just kind of move it around, okay?
Okay.
Clean your cutting board. Clean your cutting board.
Oh.
Wipe your cutting board.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and get some of this prep started. I have garlic, and if you're not, I'm pretty sure everyone's got the garlic thing down, but if you happen to be starting cooking, you're just gonna take a clove out. And what I just do is, like, I'm sure everyone just push it down to get it to peel. Now, sometimes, depending on the variety of garlic, sometimes it's kind of hard to peel, but this one's really pretty easy. Good?
Getting crispy.
Okay. So then we'll cut the stems off. How's the color?
Getting dark and light, sort of.
What color are we looking for?
Yellowish.
Golden brown?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're getting there.
Getting there? Okay. Okay, so then I have my cloves here. We're just going to go ahead and smash them just to get us started. And then we're going to rough chop. You put them together and just go in there. When I'm rough chopping, I keep bringing it back together so I can get an even cut.
Ooh, that one's good.
Which one? Keep rough chopping. Okay, I want to put this over here for you, sir. Right here. And then, this is your strainer. When you think that they're ready, you're going to take them carefully, and we're going to take them out like this. These are some of these are ready to go. Let the oil drain. We'll put them on the side here. And you can hear them kind of like, they're really crispy on the sides already. It does kind of look like Spam. Then as soon as they come out, here's the part that's important. As soon as they come out, you want to salt them, okay? Because if they get cold, then the salt won't stick. So right when they come out, you salt them. Here it is. This is what they kind of look like. Nice and golden. Okay, so Bodhi, you want to take a few more pieces here, put some inside?
So like just
Here.
lightly.
Yep, like this. Go ahead. You can put that in. Go ahead. Take some more. Good. Okay. While he's finishing that up, we'll finish this up. Up to you guys. If you like really like garlic, you can go rough chop. If you like the flavor of garlic, but you don't like it to be like in your face, go finer. We'll go ahead and put this on a plate here. Okay, so then we're gonna do the ginger now. This is local ginger, which is really nice. Okay, I'm gonna take a piece off. It smells awesome. Now, I've seen a lot of different ways people do it. People slice it, smash it, people peel it, but this is kind of what I do, and it helps get the best yield, I think. You want to taste one of those? Yeah. Yeah, you want it one more time just to make sure? Just gotta make sure. Good. Need more salt? Yeah, here. Okay, here. All right, so take your spoon, and this outer layer is just very thin. So you just take the spoon, and you just scrape it. Instead of using a peeler, you'll get better yield on your ginger. We'll move that around. Okay. Now, if you're making soup or whatever, you can use that for soup. But we're gonna want all of this to go into the stir fry. So then I'll just cut this piece off here. And again, if you want to, you can just smash it. But I'm gonna take it a little, cut it down a little bit. How's the kalo doing?
Getting golden.
Okay. Let's move it around. So now, I'm gonna kind of leave this in like slivers. So I'm gonna shingle them. And then I'm gonna take my knife in here and we're gonna just very thinly slice them. And if you don't have the technique or practice to do what I'm doing here, just rough chop this thing. Just get in there and just go at it. Okay, so we got our ginger, we got garlic. And the recipe also, one of the recipes has optional, I think I put it in there, is Chinese black beans, fermented. What do you think? Take it out?
There, yeah.
See, do you want to take it out?
No.
Okay, thanks, chef. All right, so this one here, you can, some people rinse them, but I don't think they need to be rinsed. And some people will chop them. I'll chop them a little bit. You can also use these whole, and I love these. It really gives a lot of umami and just depth of flavor. Gives you that really good Chinatown funk to the dish. Okay, so we'll take this, just really rough chop it. Don't forget to salt them right when they came out. The smell smells. It's just, I think everyone in the room here is kind of like, their salivary glands are going crazy right now. How does that smell, Bodhi? That looks really good.
Really good.
You take the rest out, and you can do another round.
Mhm.
Yes. What name of the what? Oh, this? Yeah. So these are Chinese fermented black beans. You can get them in the Asian section here. Here, let me cut into this. So this is a Wing brand, and they're like basically the little black beans that they ferment. I can, again, someone can fact check me, but I think they're like soybeans that they ferment and they turn black and they have plenty flavor. If you go to Chinese restaurants, right, and you have black bean crab or black bean with oyster sauce or eggplant, that's the stuff that they're using in there. One thing I wanted you to know, take a look at how Bodhi's putting the taro inside here. Can you come and can swing into the close-up one here? He's dropping them in, and he lets the taro fall away from him, so that if it splashes away from him and not on him. Keep going. Put some more inside. Oh, wrong way. That one fell the wrong way. But there you go. Good job. Okay. Keep going. Put some more inside.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead. Let's do some green onions. Everyone does green onions at home, right? We know the deal on the green onions, right? So I'll just cut some real quick. As I'm sure a lot of you folks do, right? You take these pieces here, you dry them out, plant them in your yard. Green onions forever, right? So we'll just cut some real quick. That's good. Those are seasoned? Did you season your
Yep,
second
I
one?
seasoned
Okay.
them. Now we could use some more salt.
Now, if you don't want to fry the taro, that's fine too. You can also cut them into little cubes, and you can saute them a little bit so that you can kind of crisp them on the outside and minimize the amount of fat. Or you could steam them. There's a lot of simple preparations. I'm showing you how to do this because it's a little indulgent. But depending on how you want to go, that's totally fine too. I was thinking about taking some and try to make some cow yolk, and that's a little rich too, though. Okay, so we got the green onions. I'll put these on a plate. Yes. Good idea. I don't have an air fryer. I was thinking about getting one, but yeah, that can work. So if I was going to do the air fryer, I would cut the fries, put a little bit of vegetable oil on them, and then put them on a sheet pan or put them into the tray that you have in your air fryer and then put them in. You'll probably get a really good result. And then as soon as they come out, go ahead and season them. That's a really great idea. Okay. So now we're gonna let's go ahead and jump into the patties here. Now you can, if you want to, you can make just a real, a general burger, or you can do what I'm gonna propose doing. It gives good flavor, but the burger you can go any way you want. I just did this with more of an Asian flair because of what we're trying to do. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Can you use black bean paste as an option?
If you're talking about like the Lee Kum Kee in the bottle, the black bean sauce, you can. I'm not familiar with black bean paste. As long as the black bean paste is like for Chinese cooking, that's fine. I just want to make sure, because sometimes people get mixed up with, some of the stuff that is made for like Hispanic cooking, black beans and rice kind of stuff. So if the black beans is basically this fermented stuff that's made into a paste, I think you should be fine. Okay, so we got the ground beef. We're gonna throw some ginger, and I know I made these, so I did cut these up into threads. I'm gonna chop this up a little bit more for the burger. And for your 1 pound, right? You have a pound you're working with. I would say, couple teaspoons is fine to put inside. That goes inside. Green onions. shoyu. Now, I didn't put it in the recipe, but I feel like putting it in today. I'm gonna put a little bit, just a splash of oyster sauce. Oyster sauce is tricky. It's a really good flavor enhancer, but you put too much and it's overpowering, okay? And then we're gonna put in just a little bit of sugar. Now, sugar adds lots of great things to the dish, but you have to be mindful of how much you put in here, because if you put too much, as you know, like with teriyaki and you're grilling, it's gonna burn. So when you're gonna make these patties, remember that you wanna put some, but you don't want it to be super sweet, but also the more sugar you put in, the more quickly it's gonna caramelize and in the pan, okay? So I'm just gonna put just a very little bit. I'm gonna treat it like, almost like if I was seasoning with salt. I am gonna put just a little, can you pass me the salt, please? Just a little bit salt inside. And we'll put a little bit, I'll put some pepper. If you don't have that, again, no problem. This is how, you know, you're cooking by feel. Okay, now I'm gonna take the taro back from Bodhi and give him the burger. And sir, will you get in there please and mix it all up? You can use this too if you want. Oh, it's good, your hand's great. Go for it. We have just a little bit more taro left. I'll get this going. You're doing good. It's great. So last batch that's gonna go in. Yeah, ground beef was in the kit. So this is all looking really, really good. Here, look at that, yumminess. How's that coming, Bodhi?
Good, I think it's all mixed in.
You think? Let me check. Can I do a last check? You can keep your hands dirty because you're gonna do something. I have another task for you. So when you're mixing the burger, you want to get in here and fold it on top of itself and push down. Fold, push, fold, push, fold, push, fold, push, fold, push. Okay. One thing about this beef, I'm interested when you guys get to try it. I think you're gonna be really. It'll be interesting if you buy typically like some of the mainland product that's out there versus this, which I believe is grass-fed, right? It's gonna have a more developed flavor, I think. And I think it'll be really exciting for you guys to try it if you've not before. Okay, so Bodhi, what you're gonna do now? I have a pan here, and we're gonna make tiny burgers. What you want to do is think about somewhere like a ping pong ball in your head. So something that you want, it should fit in your hand, and you're gonna roll these, and then you will just put them in the pan.
Like
okay?
a small meatball?
Yeah, basically we're making tiny little meatballs, okay? Here. Okay, go for it. So we're almost done with this. He's gonna keep making meatballs, and then we're gonna move on to the next set of prep. So, just as a recap, right? We've got the kalo that we're making our little fries out of. We're finishing up our last batch. Then we did some pre-prep, right? We've got our ginger, green onions, we've got our garlic, and we've got our fermented black beans that's all prepped up, ready to go here. And then we're gonna start working on some next things. So the ground beef patties, he's working on right now. So kalo fries, check. Ground beef patties in the works. Next, we're going to work on the vegetable dishes, and then we can kind of start to bring everything together. All right, so we'll start doing the prep on the bell pepper here. Beautiful bell peppers. And so the way that I prep these, and I think it works well, and you get the best yield out of them, is I start by cutting. I look at where the stem is, and I try to estimate where that stem bottom is, and I try to take a top cut. And you'll see what I mean by that. You see how I got where that round piece comes in, right where that level is. Then I cut just the bottom off as little as possible, to kind of flatten this out. So I have these two pieces here. Okay. How your burgers coming, chef?
Really good.
Really good?
We might need another pan though.
Just kind of push them together a little bit. Just
Okay.
They can touch, but don't smush them. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, so then the part is we gotta take this center stuff out here. So I'm gonna take my knife and just take a slit down here. And see, as I made that cut, I push my knife in, and then I'm gonna run my knife just around the inside because I want to get that center out and that pith, but I don't want to waste anything, right? And so that comes out. And what I have now is this is all edible part of the bell pepper, and this is just the trim. And bell peppers, you know, they're not the cheapest, so you want to make sure you get as much edible portion as possible. And that's all the part that you got to put in your compost. So we're going to go ahead, do another check on these. These are almost done. And then we're going to cut these up for the dish, okay? Now you can have fun with these. You can cut them in different shapes. I think some of the fun part about cooking, right, is the experience that you create for people by not just making food that's going to nourish their body physiologically, but I think you want to excite people's, you know, their imagination and their thoughts, and you want people to see the special things that you do for them and the thoughtfulness that you put into the cooking. So we'll cut some little diamonds out of here, and I'm trying to cut pieces that are bite-sized so that when a fork you pull in your mouth, you don't have to take two different bites.
Yeah, we're gonna need another tray.
What's that?
We're gonna need another.
No, you're okay. Just you can put the one on the top. How much more you got?
Just a bit.
Yeah, just keep going. I'll be good. You'll be good. So here's our bell pepper. And then we'll start to work with the eggplant. As you can see, we're gradually starting to do more. As we do the work, all of the prep work is all coming together, right? Okay, so we have eggplant, and these are, I think we call them, they're globes or they're little minis, but this is more of a style like what you would think about, you know, when you're doing Italian cooking. You know, if you were going to cut these straight down, you can make eggplant parmesan. And what you tend to see more in Asian style cooking right along what we call the Japanese eggplant. And we didn't have those, but the thing that we wanted to show you is that when you're cooking, you can make substitutions. And so I'm going to use this in the same application, and we'll still get a great result. See, look at that. See, you figured it out. Right there. What does it say up there on the learner outcomes? Problem solving. Good job. Okay, so we're almost done here, and we'll almost be done with all of our kalo. I'm going to cut just the top off, just as that's going to go in the waste. I'm going to cut a little bit of the bottom off, kind of like what we did for the bell peppers. Now, if you like skin, you can leave the whole thing on. One of the things I like to do is sometimes it's a little raw, it gets leathery, so I'm going to cut a little bit off. And what I'm doing is, you know, like when you do cucumbers at home sometimes and you want to make them pretty, you guys kind of stripe them. We're going to do that.
So I finished the meatballs.
You finished the meatballs? Okay, why don't you quickly work around the front and show Uncle the meatballs so he can take a shot of that. Here, meatballs right down there. Okay, come back. Beautiful. Come up here. Up here, put the meatballs down there. Now I want to take these out real quick. This is the last of our fries. Nicely done, Bodhi.
So wash your hands.
Wash your hands, sorry. Yeah, please wash your hands. And then I'll season these like we've been doing before. And then this one will be done. So we'll have this. This is ready to go. I'm gonna put these. You can take a look at that. I'll just put them right here for now. And then we're gonna start working on the burgers. So I'm starting the eggplant. I'm gonna stop for a second so we can come back over here and get the burger thing going with Bodhi. And then we can see. So I have a pan on. If you have a non-stick pan at home, great, perfect. I would be using one too. It's just that we're using induction, and the pan that I have that's non-stick wouldn't work on this kind of a surface. But non-stick is great. Now, if you have pan spray at home, that's really, I love to use it. I even use it on non-stick sometimes. It's a little extra insurance. I would definitely want to spray it on this kind of a pan, but I don't have that. So we're just going to use a little bit of we're going to use our vegetable oil again. We're going to cook the burgers. And so we have these beautifully shaped, would you say golf ball or ping pong?
Golf ball.
Golf ball sized meatballs, sliders.
Whichever one.
Okay, and we're going to put these in the pan and we're going to cook them. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of treat them like smash burgers, right? I don't know if you've heard of those, but basically they take these round balls and when they make the burgers, they smash it on the griddle, and that's how they make smash burgers. So we're going to kind of like make smash burgers. Hang on. I'll put the grease in the pan, or the oil in the pan. In your pan, when you put it on your stove, you want to get it to medium high, and you just want to coat the bottom, just very lightly coat the bottom. And then you want to let it get heat up. And what you want to look for is, I don't know if you can you see, take a look in here and maybe get it. If you look at it, when you look at it at an angle in the glare, when the oil starts to like ripple and it gets shimmery and ripply, like the breeze blowing over the ocean, that means the oil is hot enough that you can start to cook. Because at that point it's ready. If it starts to wait too long, then it starts to smoke. But if you don't have that rippling, that means it's too cold. Okay? All right, so now you're gonna do this, Mr. Chang, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna start doing the burgers. So he's gonna take his burger and he's gonna smash it like that. Go ahead. Go ahead. And I actually, right when he smashes it so they don't stick, I'm gonna smash it. I'm gonna hang on. I'm gonna come in here and move it. Actually, you know what? This particular pan I'm using is not gonna work with me on a smash burger. So smash it with your hands. Because when I'm smashing it, they want to stick. So flatten it, you flatten it, and then lay it in here. Get it flat. Flat. Go ahead. Good job. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Okay, keep going. One thing you notice is a little splat here and there. You gotta be ready for a little bit of a splat. Right here. Okay, good. Go wash your hands. So we're gonna cook these. We're gonna cook them pretty much all the way through. And while these are finishing cooking, one thing I'm doing too is I make sure that they're not stuck, right? So I'm going like that, and they're sliding around, which means we're good, okay? I'm gonna have Bodhi watch these while we keep going. Ready, Chef? Okay, we're gonna finish striping. Can you watch these burgers, okay? Mm-hmm. You wanna look underneath one, make sure they're not burning. Look underneath like that. Good, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Oh, looks good. So what we're doing now is we're gonna he's gonna cook the burgers. We're gonna work on these eggplant, and then we'll be almost ready to bring everything together. It looks like we're doing pretty good on time too. All right, so your burgers when you come out, Bodhi, I'll tell you when they're done. But just to be safe, just also when we're gonna take the burgers out, I'm gonna put them on a paper too, so any of that extra fat, that grease that's in there will be absorbed. Okay. Finish striping. You right there? You good?
Yep, just got some on my nose.
Next month's cooking class, he's gonna teach you guys how to make schnitzel. He said. Okay, so we're gonna cut this up now. Now there's a couple things you can do. Like there's seeds in here, and depending if you like the seeds, great. If you want to use the whole thing, fine. I want to do this in a way that I don't have all that much seeds. So I'm going to take my knife and I'm gonna cut. In my head, I'm envisioning where the seeds are, and I'm cutting down. You see how the seeds start over here? So I'm cutting around that. How you doing there? You right? You got a little, the oil kissed you a little bit?
I got wet with it.
You got what?
I got oil on me.
Yeah, they call that a kiss. They gave you a little kiss. Okay, so I think these are looking good though. What do you think?
I think they're looking pretty good too.
Here's Bodhi's burgers. This one's a little raw. Okay. We'll go just a little bit longer, then we'll take them out. Okay? Keep an eye on it. Here, looking good. Now we're gonna come around here. You see here? I'm gonna cut like that, so I can catch that. See that? There's just a little bit of that seed here. You see that? I'm still following that, right? So I'm gonna go one more time. One more time. Burgers out.
Yep. On there?
On there. Okay. Now we're gonna take these and like here are my bell pepper pieces, right? So I'm gonna keep my eggplant pieces relatively the same, or relatively the same size. You guys are so quiet out there in Zoom land. No questions? None at all?
This girl said he likes the green oil in the ocean.
Hey Jed, you gotta come teach everyone how to do your ribs. By the way, your turn's next, right? You coming on here. And then Auntie Holly can come teach how to do her clam dip.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Come on, good. Yeah, good. Did I just cut the whole thing up? No, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have shown you, but that bottom piece that had all the seeds in, I cut and I just threw it away. But see here, now you have all this eggplant. It's all beautifully. You have some seeds, but the majority of it's gone. Okay, so now you see, I got this pan here. What I would do here, because of all this, that's all that sugar, right? I'm not gonna keep putting burgers in there because otherwise, it's just gonna burn. So I'm gonna switch to a new pan. But if you're at home, right, you're just gonna go ahead, clean your pan, start again. Now the next thing we're gonna start to do is we'll bring the vegetables. We'll do the vegetables and bring that together. You ready to do another batch in here? Why don't you start smashing burgers in there? Smash them in the pan, yeah, and put them down.
Jed says to invite them over and we'll
Okay, but no, but you gotta invite everyone over. Gotta get everyone's email. Wait, keep going, keep smashing. Okay, the cool thing now I want to do is this. I was very fortunate that this wok actually works on this induction unit. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some wok cooking. That's how we're going to do the vegetable dish. And just double check everyone. Make sure your water, the water that we have that you're supposed to be bringing up to boil, is being brought up to a boil. Because what's going to happen now? So just another. We're going to check in. Kalo is done. Burgers are kind of like almost done. Your
Getting
sous
there.
chef is working at home on their burgers. We got all our prep done for the vegetables. We're gonna stir fry that quickly, and then the last thing we do is bring the tatsoi and we're gonna bring it all together. Okay. How you doing?
Good.
You ready? May I have one, please? Let me double check. Yeah, this is ready. You see how this thing is? This kind of pan is like it wants to stick this in there. Again, it's all that sugar. Go ahead. In. Away from yourself. Remember, away from yourself. Away from you. Good. Again, in. Away from you. Yep. One more. Here. We're good. You're gonna wash these, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, wash your hands. You can wash your hands. Okay, we're gonna go stir fry now. Think about wok cooking. If you don't have a wok, no problem. You can totally use a saute pan and just do the same thing. But I just recently started to get into using a wok, which I really enjoy. This is a carbon steel machine hammered wok. So that's about $40, right? And I think it's really worth getting one. Now the one I bought is flat because I don't have a gas burner like you do in a Chinese restaurant. So you get a little bit flat on the bottom so that you can put it on your cook range. And then you season it. So you got to get it really screaming hot. Then you put oil in it and you kind of wipe it out. And I don't use soap on this. I use just like a salt and I scrub it out if I need to and water. But soap takes the seasoning off. How's that look? You got it?
Our G is getting good.
Okay, here. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Now it's starting to get hot. The thing I like about using the wok is the metal is thin, so it heats up very quickly. And as you start to learn how to use it, you can you work around the center, which is very, very hot, and then you can push things around the side to control the heat. But I really like it because it also allows me to toss things really, really, really well. And so we're gonna bring this all together right now. We're gonna do our stir fry here. So I've got this thing really, really hot. We're gonna be using our green onions. We got all the black beans and all this fun stuff. We got some stock, oyster sauce, shoyu. Now, one thing about like local style, good job. Yeah, I know, you're cooking, right? A lot of when you're doing it at home, right? It's like shoyu and oyster sauce. It's like oyster sauce. Now, when I've been doing research on Chinese cooking, it's oyster sauce is used, but it's used as a flavoring. And what you're trying to do is really, you're making a stock that is flavored with shoyu, some sugar, oyster sauce, and if you have like Shaoxing wine or sherry wine at home, it adds all these different layers in the sauce. And I've always been trying to figure out how to do like Chinese restaurant brown sauce. And really, it's this combination of really rich stock seasoned with these things. And so that's what we're going to kind of replicate that. I'm not using cornstarch today because that's just complicates it, but you still can do a really quick stir fry without having to worry about the cornstarch. How are you looking there? Let me feel it. Let me check it. Go a little bit longer.
Okay.
Okay, so this is getting nice and hot. We're going to add some of our oil.
What kind of oil do you use?
Oh, I'm using vegetable oil. It's economical, but you know, sorry, I'm just checking. Are you okay there? You good?
Mhm.
Vegetable, but canola vegetable works fine. What really works great is peanut oil because it's a really high smoke point and it's neutral. I don't use things like, some people do, but I don't use sesame oil because it has a low smoke point. These are ready to go. You can take them out. You got it?
What do I put them on? What do I
right
put?
there? You can kind of like shingle them around.
Can you explain what smoke is?
I'm sorry?
Can you explain what smoke is?
Oh yeah, sorry. Smoke point means that's the temperature that the oil starts to smoke. And they all smoke at different temperatures. Like peanut oil might smoke at 500 degrees, where like extra virgin olive oil or like the toasted sesame oil might start smoking at 300 degrees. And so when you're doing high heat cooking, you need to make sure you have an oil that can handle the heat before it starts to smoke, because the first step for that oil to start to flame is like it starts to smoke, and then it'll what's the word? Catch on fire, right? It starts to turn to fire. So that's kind of what that is. I'm trying to figure out if this is getting hot. Not hot enough yet. I want this thing to be hot. Screaming hot. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Now we're cooking. I want this thing to smoke. Are you okay?
Susan wants to let you know flash point.
Flash point. See, I knew someone would get it. Flash point. Okay, how you doing?
Good.
We can cook these later, but those are looking good. You know what you can do for me, chef?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you nicely, very nicely, take those that. So the burgers we have here, we've drained them, and now what Bodhi's gonna do is he's gonna plate them so that for like presentation. So yep, I'll take this from you. Now you can take the burgers and nicely plate them on a dish. Okay, smoke it. Okay, we got smoke. Now I'm trying to make sure I don't get to flash. Okay, so I'm gonna start by throwing in my ginger, garlic, black beans, because I want to get all the essential oils out. I want to start seasoning this thing, right? I know what's happening. This induction unit's freaking out. It's going, oh my God, it's so hot. Yeah, it's going like, whoa, dude. So it's wanting to turn itself off. But I'm going to jump on this one here. I'm going to go back and forth. But you can smell it. Can you guys smell the fragrance?
Yes, it smells very good.
Chef said it smells very good. Okay, good. Thank you. So I'm letting the smells come out. See how quickly this induction unit really heats up? Awesome. I might have to just go back and forth a little bit. I'm going to go between 3 burners on this one. Okay, we're back over here. Now I'm going to throw in actually I'm going to throw in the eggplant first, because you know the eggplant, it needs time to you know how it likes to drink oil? So we'll throw that in, let it cook a little bit.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you're using black bean sauce instead of the whole bean,
Yeah.
add it at the same time.
No. Put that at the end, because all that liquid's gonna mess it up. So yeah, if you're using the liquid, wait till the end, the sauce at the end. I'm putting a bit more oil because this thing drank it all up. Kind of get that nice and hot. How's it going, chef?
Good.
You good? Can you take that plate and throw the paper towel in the rubbish can, and you can put the no. Take the plate. Take the plate. It's the whole plate. Yep. Yep. Come. Perfect. Take the green plate and put it in the sink. Good job. All right. So this is coming together. You see how you can smell that? The eggplant's kind of nicely cooking. You want to sprinkle some green onions on that? You're good. He's going to garnish this now a little bit with some green onions. We're stir frying. And one thing about stir frying too is, in Chinese restaurants, you might not know this, but what they do sometimes is they don't just keep adding into the wok. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they'll wok certain things, take them out, add things in, and then bring it all back together. So what I'm going to do here, because I'm trying to manage not having too much in the wok because it won't cook, right? I might add a little bit more oil. See, one thing you notice though, as I'm cooking, right, I'm watching what I'm doing. I'm seeing how it's reacting, and I'm adjusting as I go. And this, right now, was so dry in the pan, it's asking for a little bit more fat. So that's why I gave it what it needed. Well, that looks good. You want to put some sesame seeds on there?
Mm-hmm.
Here. I'm trying to make sure that this doesn't overheat, so I'm going to put it on top of this stove here for a little bit. Let it cool down a little bit. But what we're going to do is cook that a little bit longer. And then I'm going to take it out and put it in this bowl, and then I'm going to get the bell peppers in so that those can cook, and then I'll bring it together. Does that look, you happy with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Just not too many sesame seeds. But
Okay, so now what can you do here is, can you take these and nicely put them on that plate? Here. I'll take this here. You can put them on that plate nicely. And then we're going to start to bring this all together. Well, we got a couple minutes left. We're almost there. Almost there. Okay. So this is going to come out real quick. I'm going to put it back on. I want it to get screaming hot again. A little bit of oil back in. Let it swirl. Let it get really hot. I'm going to bring this back to the front. Back to the front burner here. Okay, let's see how it goes. Let's wait for that smoke point again. See how it's starting to smoke? We'll add it in. That's the sound you want. That's the sound you want. And if I had just added this into the eggplant, it would have just been too much, and it wouldn't have been able to do that. And so that's why I made that adjustment. But as you think about the things we cooked today, when I put the kalo in the oil, it did not make the same sound, because if it's made this sound, the oil has been too hot for the kalo. But for the stir fry, which is a very high heat technique, you want to have that sound. Okay, so now we're going to bring this dish together. These have been cooking nicely. I'm going to add back my eggplant. Okay. Toss that. Now I'm going to do is I'm going to make just a tiny little opening in here. And then, beautiful. We're gonna go ahead and add our flavoring ingredients. So I'm gonna start with a little bit of oyster sauce. Shoyu a little bit. And then the base of the sauce, which is chicken stock, right? And you can toss it, or just to be safe, if you're not comfortable with that, just go ahead and stir it together. Now, if you want, I brought some of this. It's not in the recipe, but I'm going to add just a little bit of heat. And I am going to add just a tad, just a splash of sesame oil. May I have some green onions, please, Chef? Thank you. Some green onions we'll throw inside. And then this is the thing I never thought I'd ever do in my life, but I've come. What is that?
Green onion.
This is cilantro, right? Chinese parsley. If you hate it, I understand. No need to put inside. But I've come to love this stuff. I used to hate it bad, like, but now I can't get it. Is there anyone here that does not like cilantro? You do not like cilantro? Okay. I'm gonna put it inside anyway. But I feel your pain. Okay. That looks good, I think. We'll go ahead and put this in a. We'll go ahead and put it in a here.
Do I throw this away?
Yeah. Okay. So we have that now. I'll put this over here, coming down to you. So we're starting to, our dishes are starting to kind of like all come together, right? We've got the burgers, we've got the stir fry, you got your fries that Bodhi very artfully put together, nice job. Okay, now we're gonna do the last thing, and then we can grind. Let me do a quick wipe down here. Yes, it's saying it's too much heat, so we're gonna go back on the stove. But we're gonna bring the tot soy together, and you can use tot soy. By the way, this is beautiful tot soy from Mao Farms. Thanks, Uncle Gary. Beautiful stuff. We're gonna go ahead, and this was already washed, so make sure you wash it, when you guys are cooking. And you can use tot soy. Any of the Asian braised greens work great. Tot soy, choy sum. You like choy sum, right?
Yes.
You could use watercress. Bok choy is great. What else? Mustard cabbage is really good if you like that kind of like peppery bitterness. So, I'm just gonna cut. I'm gonna cut it so that you're trying to get the thick pieces together, like the stems, and then you have your more tender pieces here like that. Okay? I'm gonna just do all of this. I mean, these are thick, so I'm gonna cut it down just a little bit. And then,
I could.
what's that? You can?
Need
Okay.
help?
Yeah, can you just cut this down the middle here?
Okay.
You cut these two down. No, yeah, perfect. Down the middle. And then we're gonna bring this all together. We're very, very, very close. Okay, any last minute questions as we're kind of very close to wrapping up? I hope everyone had a good time. You guys are so quiet. I cannot tell. You guys having a good time or not?
Do I cut off the leaf now? The leaf?
No. No, that's good.
No.
Okay, so we're going to start in the water. Now, you can just use plain boiling water. What I'm going to do, and it's one thing I started to do, which I think is awesome, it makes a huge difference, is I take some toasted sesame oil, I put it inside the top. I put it in the water, and then it boils, and it kind of like goes all over, and then when you blanch your vegetables, it like lightly shines them and gives flavor. So I'm going to start with the stems first. Go right inside. Stems, please.
Anella Ryan says she's really enjoying this, learning lots, and looking forward to eating.
All right. Okay, cool. Thanks. Okay, so we're gonna put that inside here. Let it cook slowly, and then we got a colander. So that I'm going to use to drain these as we need to. And again, in like Asian cooking, we like things with texture, right? So you guys can decide to what degree how much you want this thing to be blanched. But I tend to go a little bit less because I like that crunch. So we'll take some of this out now. But you see how that is nice and shiny now because of that sesame oil, and it's giving flavor. Okay. So you don't need to go to a Chinese restaurant now and spend $12. You can do this at home and have a wonderful dish. So I'm gonna put the tender greens in now. That's the tops that are gonna go in, and they will cook very quickly. And while those are cooking, I'm gonna start to plate over here. Here, down here. I'll start to put this on a plate here. So You start with I put the greens here like that usually, and I'll pull out the other ones now that are done. They're really fast. It's just you literally just drop them in, and you pull them out. So coming back to the front here, letting them drain out, and I'll just put them on the top here. It's like rebuild the plant back together. And then what I will do, I will just come back in here just a little bit, just a little refresh splash, a little bit of sesame oil. Then we're gonna come in with a real quick drizzle of oyster sauce. And then if you want, hit it with some sesame seeds. And you're good to go. So let's see, what do we got? We got cauliflower fries. We got our cauliflower fries, I'll bring them right up here. We've got our burgers. The tatsoi. And then we'll get a quick wipe. We have our eggplant and bell pepper stir fry. And here it is. What do you think, Chef?
That looks really
Good. If there are any other last minute questions before we kind of wrap here? I'm gonna take one of these here. I'm gonna have, of course, it looks great. I'm gonna have Chef here do a quality check. What do you think, Chef?
Really good.
Really good. You want to try some of the bok choy or the tatsoi here? I'll feed you here.
Keith Susan is outstanding.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the next class.
All right.
And Jenny, Kelly, everything looks. Oh no, can't wait to dig in.
Oh, and of course you cannot forget, right? I got a little bit of rice here, so. Anyway, I hope you guys had a good time. Chef, did you have a good time?
Yes.
And again, if there are any last minute questions could pop up, I mean, you're welcome to shoot and they can email you, right? If there's anything that comes up, email it and we'll get you guys answers. But again, we hope you had fun. All these recipes, easy to do by feel. You can spice them up. You can take them in a Korean direction. You know, have fun with it. Put some gochujang in there and call it a day. So hope you had fun. And other than that, you want to sign off?
Bye.
Okay, that works.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.